Are you lying awake at 3 a.m. Googling, what if something goes wrong during birth? Feeling absolutely terrified about labor and completely unprepared for what's coming? You've been told to just trust the process, and this is normal. Your body knows what to do. But that's not enough when you're facing the unknown, right? What if in just 5 days you could go from anxious to fearless, from feeling powerless to completely in control, from dreading birth to actually being excited about it? I'm Trish, labor nurse mama, and after 16 years as a high-risk L&D nurse, helping deliver thousands of babies, I know exactly how to flip your biggest birth fears into unshakable confidence. In my free 5 days to a fear-free birth experience, you'll go from the fear of the unknown to completely understanding, from feeling powerless to staying in control, from terrified of the pain to confident in your ability, from worried about trauma to having the real prevention tools, and from having no voice to knowing hospital insider secrets. Join me September 29th through October 3rd, completely free. Register now at labornursemama.com/fearless. Your body was made for this baby. Let me show you how to believe it. Hey mama, welcome to Pregnancy Unpacked. I'm Trish, a labor nurse of 16 years, mom of 7, and your birth bestie. I'm going to be walking you through not just baby bumps and fruit sizes, but the entire identity shift that pregnancy will be for you. Each episode drops every Wednesday, and we're going to unpack what's happening in your body, what to expect, what to do, what's normal, even when it feels extremely weird, and how to actually feel supported emotionally and physically. You're going to hear from me where I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but I'm going to be cheering you on along the way. You can follow along each Wednesday because pregnancy deserves more than outdated advice and Google anxiety. Today, we're unpacking what's actually happening inside your body and your baby at 40 weeks, and what your doctor visit will probably look like, how to prepare your mind if you go past your due date, and exactly how to handle the chorus of, is the baby here yet, without losing your freaking mind. First, what's happening in your body? Your cervix might be doing a little homework, girl. Right now, it's softening, it's maybe thinning out, which is what we call effacement, and sometimes opening a centimeter or two. I've even had some moms that are like walking around at 4 to 6. You might see more mucus or a little bloody show, and that is okay. Braxton Hicks are probably coming more frequently, and you probably have a lot more pelvic pressure as if you already didn't have enough. The lower back aches, and just being like generally uncomfortable. And all of these are normal signs your body is getting ready for that precious little human. Those practice contractions, stretching, remodeling, those are just prep. Now, some people, if it's your first baby, maybe you haven't dropped yet. The more babies you have, you can drop earlier, and we call that lightning. And that's when the baby just settles really low into the pelvis. It may have already happened. It is not a sign that birth is imminent, but it will help you breathe easier, but your pelvis feels heavier. So we've covered that before, but some people don't drop until active labor. And you know what? Both are fine. Dates are estimates. They're not deadlines. The due date was helpful for planning, but biologically, a week or two in either direction can be totally normal. So when your brain starts driving you insane, like, what if something's wrong? What if my body can't do it? I want you to remember that a number on the calendar does not override your healthy pregnancy. So some practical tips to feel better physically right now: move in ways that feel good to you. Go for a walk, do your gentle hip circles. If you've got purposeful positioning, my course All on Positions, you can check out some movements. You know, I love squats, but make sure that it's okay with your provider that you're doing these things. You also want to stay hydrated and snack on energy dense foods. Labor takes fuel, so don't skip meals. This is not the time to skip meals. You want to be nice and fueled up for this baby, and y'all know know I am like, eat during labor. Your body will tell you when to stop eating. So don't worry, like, what if labor happens? Should I be eating? Don't worry like that. Now, for back pain, you can use a heating pad. Be safe with that. I've actually burned the poo out of myself on a heating pad. So make sure you have one that auto shuts off. You can also have your partner do some counter pressure for back pain, some hip squeeze. And you can also try a pregnancy support belt if you're feeling like that pelvic pressure is too much. Now, sleep. Sleep when you can and nap strategically because your rest matters. It's so important to fuel up both with food and rest for this baby. Speaking of the baby, let's talk about what's happening with your baby. At 40 weeks, your baby's full term. Lungs are developed, fat stores are there, brain is still maturing a little, which is why we can let them cook when we can. Now, one of the things we've talked about earlier, and I want to talk about again, is that the baby is still moving as often, just it may not feel like big kicks anymore because there's less space. If movements are noticeably different, not just a little less oomph, but like a real change in pattern or how often, call your care team. Like, movement counts and we never mess around with this. I always want you to get checked. Many babies will start to get more engaged. They're already head down by this time, but they're going to settle down into the pelvis. And the lower they get into the pelvis is what we call station. And it, again, will increase the pressure, more trips to the bathroom. And the baby is so low. And that is not an emergency. It just means everything's shifting further into place. If you go past your due date, your baby is not punishing you. Like, babies are fine. Your body is not broken. Your care team will monitor the growth, the movements, and sometimes they will do checks called non-stress tests or a BPP, which is a biophysical profile, which is an ultrasound, just to make sure baby's still doing good and tolerating the environment. And these are important. Monitoring is about information and options. It's not a reason to panic. So we can make decisions based on how well the baby does on these monitoring, whether it's an NST or a BPP. Now let's talk about your doctor visit. And I know this 40-week one, like, you probably were like, oh, I'll never make to it. And here you are. So let's make it predictable. Same as always, blood pressure check, urine check, checking on the baby's fetal movements, listening to the baby's heartbeat with a Doppler, and potentially they're going to want to do a cervical check if you want it. It's your choice. If you decide to have a cervical check at 40 weeks, then I recommend you do a membrane sweep. If you want to, okay? My recommendation is to my students, if they want to, I personally like to have a membrane sweep if I got to 40 weeks. They usually take a couple, but again, it's totally up to you. And we have so much information on membrane sweeps. We'll link in the show notes. If there's any concern, they may order a non-stress test today during your 40-week appointment or the BPP. And in the BPP, it's called a biophysical profile. They're checking for fluid and growth and movement and heart and all the things. So you can ask them questions, though, if they recommend any of this. If your provider suggests induction, ask the questions that matter. Don't get emotional. I always recommend to my students, like, ask them questions, tell them you will get back to them. Unless it's emergent, you have time to make a decision. So don't let fear or pressure rush you into a decision. Just ask questions. And here are a couple. You can say, why are you recommending induction right now? What are the specific risks if we wait another week for my situation? And if you do agree with an induction, ask them the methods that they use. What are the pros and cons? We have a great induction class that talks about the medical induction and also ways to get your body ready for a medical induction just in case. Because what I tell my students and why this matters is you don't have to, like, if you're getting induced, you can do some things at home to get yourself to have like a better chance of a vaginal delivery. I also teach inside the induction masterclass. We also teach you ways to get yourself into labor at home. So remember, you have choices. I would also ask them, like, what are the choices that you like to use during induction? And you don't have to go with what they want. That's why I have my induction masterclass. Remember the mantra, you can refuse anything, but should you? That's the should you conversation. Make choices based on data that's specific to you, individualized, not like this is just what we do with everyone, on you and your baby, not vague statements or calendar anxiety. If you need more time to decide, say so. It's okay to pause and ask for specific risks in your case. Like ask them, what are true red flags that need immediate contact with your care team? Now, again, you have the right to ask questions. Like what I recommend you ask them, what are true red flags that need immediate contact with your care team? Call right away for these things. So if you notice a significant decrease or change in fetal movement, heavy bleeding, severe headaches, vision changes, sudden swelling, especially if you suddenly swell on one side and not the other, those could be signs of preeclampsia. Any sudden severe pain or leaking of fluid that feels like a lot. If none of those things are happening, mama, most check-ins are just that, like check-ins, monitoring, planning, gentle little nudges, not emergency, but talk to your provider specifically about what they want you to contact them for immediately. Now, we're going to talk about the mental load because this is where so many of my mamas get stuck. If your due date passes, your brain might start to spiral. Here are 3 mindset shifts that will help. First, due dates are estimates. They're not finish lines. Your body has its own timeline, and that's normal. Most first-time moms go to 40 weeks and 5 days. Second, waiting is active. You need to rest. You need to nourish yourself, take short walks, pelvic opening movements, mental prep. All of that is preparation. Waiting is not doing nothing. It's building capacity for this birth. So you're still doing something or being active. Third, information trumps anxiety. Monitoring and tests can give you options and clarity. They don't mean doom and gloom. So this is where I talk about baby compromises with your provider. If your provider is pushing you for an induction and you want to wait, then a baby compromise would be like, hey, I'll come in for more NSTs and BPPs. That way you can make an empowered choice. So concrete mental tools that you can use right now, pick 1 or 2 and use them. So like a 20-minute walk, a 10-minute breathing playlist, meditation, prayer, a warm Epsom foot soak, a massage, like get a prenatal massage and make it yours. I would also recommend like you limit social media and we've already talked about this early on, no birth horror stories. They're not helpful. One thing that you can do if you start to get anxious is practice deep breath cycles when that anxiety is spiking. That actually resets your nervous system, and that works better than scrolling. Rehearse your boundary lines so that you're not caught off guard, like emotionally. And I do want to touch on that really quick, speaking of boundaries. So if people are saying to you, is the baby here yet? Is the baby here yet? Which is ridiculous because obviously the baby is not here yet. That can feel really relentless and invasive. You don't have to answer every text or every call. You can tell people ahead of time, we'll text the group when there's news, so please do not bombard me. That can be something you can let your partner handle, and you can be like, I appreciate you guys and I love you guys, but like I need to rest and I don't need to be bombarded. If someone wants to help you, have them bring diapers and dinner. Not questions. Diapers and dinner. That should be your answer. Make one person, like your partner or someone else, be the news sharer, and one person rule. It saves your sanity. Like they tell everyone this is the person who's going to let you know, and decide who that is with you guys. Like, because it can prevent repeated calls and boundary violations. If you want to be a little firmer, you can like just tell anybody, don't contact us at all. Say it once and set a boundary, because you are the queen of your birth. You decide who gets access and when. And that is totally, okay and within your rights. And you don't have to feel guilty. How people react to that, that's on them. That's them. You don't have to manage anybody's disappointment right now. Your job is to protect your energy, get ready for this birth experience, and be prepared for your labor. So don't worry about them. So Here's a couple closing quick reminders. I want to keep this short, and my dog is going nuts out there, y'all. Keep a quick bag with easy access items, clear plan for who will drive, who's going to stay with the older kids, have it all ready, have your phone charged all the time. But Put on Do Not Disturb when you need to rest and turn off the notifications. Hopefully you have a dinner train or a list of favors that people can do for you because you deserve it. You're incredible. And most important, if you have not taken a birth class now, do it now. Do it now. Be ready. Always check with your care provider about anything specific to your pregnancy. You made it to 40 weeks. I'm going to celebrate that. I want you to celebrate that. I want you to take a moment, deep breath, and honor yourself like you've been carrying a human for 40 weeks, girl. This is a milestone. This is not a crisis. You're going to do it. I know it. And as always, if this episode resonated with you, make sure that you've already subscribed, leave a review, and I will see you again next week. I adore you. You are so loved, and we want to celebrate this baby with you, so keep us posted. Okay, I will see you again next week. Bye for now. Hey mama, just a quick reminder, if you're tired of being anxious about your birth, I've got something for you. Sign up for my free 5 days to a fear-free birth experience starting September 29th, where I'm going to show you exactly how to flip your biggest birth fears into confidence. In just 5 days, you'll go from scared to prepared. With my insider secrets, you'll know as much as I know as a 16-year labor and delivery nurse. Register free at labornursemama.com/fearless or upgrade to VIP for $27 and you're going to get so many extras. It starts September 29th, so register now.